Hi, everybody.
Hi.
Thanks for joining us, whoever's here.
Yep.
So today we're going to be talking about, since we're really close to the new year, letting go of grudges. Grudges, anger, miscommunication, frustrations you're holding on to. And as we put in the post, Buddha said, holding on to anger, it's one of my favorite quotes, but holding on to anger is like drinking poison and waiting for the other person to die. Because the anger that you're feeling has nothing to do with the other person. And quite frankly, usually they couldn't care less what you're thinking because they're so busy thinking about what they're thinking and what their feelings are and not really caring. So,
it's a great time of year where Giuseppe and I were just talking about the retrograde that we're currently in.
So
and
miscommunication
is huge during retrograde. But I just said to him, because Gemini is my sign, where it's in the full moon was in Gemini, I actually feel very grounded.
Good. And you can use a retrograde to make things much more positive. Retrogrades don't have to be terrible. Use them to your advantage. Lonnie used to sing a Mercury song. I can't remember all the words.
You have to look it up. And
Maybe she'll post it so we can all sing it.
That'd be fun. Well, I was thinking too, as far as if you're going to have a retrograde, that the holidays is a good time for that, because we slow down a little bit anyway, business-wise, and kind of good to like think before you act and speak and everything, and you have a little bit more luxury, I think, to do that at the holidays, because business-wise things kind of like chills out a little bit. So
no, people need their health all the time. We don't.
And houses for sure. It's just it's a different feeling. It's a different feeling. Let's just say that. Like it, you have a little bit more of excuse because there's holiday parties and holiday this, that, and the other thing. So things are different anyway. Maybe that's where I'm going.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So I wrote some notes about like how to really best deal with angers and things like that and letting them go. So the first thing you want to do is realize a few of the triggers. And everybody has, hi Bet, everybody has triggers. And some of them are very common. So someone criticizes you. That's huge. So instead of immediately reacting angrily because somebody criticized you, take a moment, absorb it. Maybe you'll even learn something, but it doesn't mean get angry at somebody, because you don't want somebody getting angry at you for your opinion. When somebody criticizes you, it's their opinion. And, you know, that's where they're coming from. It's not where you come from. Take a breather.
It's their judgment and your judgment at the same time, too. They're judging you, so you're also allowing that to happen, that judgment.
Yeah, so listen to what they have to say, and then definitely take it from there. Hi, Jim. So decide your action. Like I said, you might even learn something. So go with the best part of it. You might learn something from it. You don't have to always agree, but you might learn something. All right, so this is one of my things. I have to listen to the beginning of a movie or the beginning of a show, because if I don't get that first couple of minutes, I'm done. Nothing makes sense. So somebody starts talking to you the minute the movie starts. Somebody starts coughing uncontrollably. You're totally beyond there. But you're like, oh my God, I'm missing the, So your frustration, you know what? Think about it. You can rerun it. You can go on YouTube and see the beginning again. Now we have the pause and rerun, which I don't know how to use that, but it's all about, like, things can't always be my way. And it's something that we have to get a grip on, but it's one of the reasons we get angry or we get frustrated. So it's another trigger. They didn't know. They weren't thinking, and they just started talking when the movie started, or a coughing spell happened. I mean, it's something that they really can't, help. And we don't think like that because we're already pissed because we didn't hear the beginning. You're having a conversation with somebody, you have a difference of opinions, and the other person didn't hear a word you said. They didn't hear a word you said. So because they're staying on their pattern of thinking. You realize that they haven't heard a word you said, and you start to get angry because you're like, oh my God, they didn't hear a word I said. You know, it happens. It happens. We're all guilty of it. I know I do that, but we're all guilty of that. Be honest about your feelings. Here you go. Stay calm. Get past whatever. Express your frustration. Be honest about your feelings in a calm way, and then let it go. Speak your piece in peace. I know we say this over and over again, but like sometimes you need to hear it over and over again. And we're simply expressing to you, not necessarily things that we've read, things that we've truly practiced and come a long way from using what we're sharing with you.
Something I learned this year immensely is arm's length. And when you're with people like family members and you know that they're going to be charged about something and that's their pattern, why would you engage that? Why? And not, like, instead just be like, hi, how are you? And I've learned that with a lot of like friends or like acquaintances in the world at large, because I have a huge fear. I don't need to know everybody's like stuff, and I don't need to be involved in all their stuff. And my friends who I can like sit down and talk about pretty much any topic with, we can have an adult conversation and be like, disagree, and be fine to disagree. You don't have to like force your agenda or your feelings. And I feel like in some of those moments, like when you know that there's going to be something that's emotionally charged, religion, politics, whatever the case may be, you just don't engage that person, because you're going to be, you know, Uncle so-and-so who always talks about this. Hi, Uncle so-and-so.
Exactly.
I'm going to be over here. All right? You guys do whatever you do.
And here's another huge point. Stop taking things personally.
Yes.
Okay? That's on you.
Yep.
We're always thinking somebody's doing or saying something intentionally to hurt us. All right, well, fix that. Heal that, whatever it is. Stop the thoughts that cause you to be frazzled.
Yeah.
Realize it's you that's doing the thinking. You know, I wrote down about how, well, wait, that's, all right, I got to get to that. All right, wait, but it's important because it's about premeditated feelings that we've had because of different things that happen, you know, to us. And finding a way to be aggressive and kind at the same time, or even calm at the same time before you confront. Get into a peaceful place first. Take a breath. Blink your eyes. Do whatever you have to do. Get out of that moment of anger, moment of frustration, moment of, you know, unraveling, okay? Notice your body language in order to go forward. What are your first impulses? And listen, if it's us, then we all know that. I'm really happy, everybody that's joining us. I see we're...
Yeah, hi, everybody.
Hi, everybody. We're really glad that you're here. What are your first impulses when you're angry? Does your face get contorted? Like, you know, you start making faces. Do you feel all of a sudden you shut down? Do you start crying? Do you throw things? Listen, guilty. Long time. Like, I remember throwing things when I was really angry.
Yeah,
do you start crying? Do you start to shake? Sometimes we get clammy. Never, never, never come back to a conversation of where you're trying to get your feelings out with an insult. Okay? People do that. You know, I want to talk to you about this. It really frustrates me. And then the other person or you go like this. Yeah, well, you do this. Well, we're not talking about that. You want to get your feelings out?
Yes.
Get your feelings out. The more enraged the other person gets, guess what? Best medicine? Get calmer. Because adding fuel to the fire is not going to do anything but point you in the wrong direction of the results that you're looking for to release all this stuff. And I don't know about you, but I know last year, going into the new year, there was a lot of stuff that I really didn't want to start the new year with, because we're in a 1 year, and if it's all about you, it's all about me, all about you, that's what I wanted it to be about. I didn't want it to be about all the other things that people had me thinking or whatever. And for me personally, it's never been easy for me to confront or really say my feelings, except with my closest friends that I knew me, and they weren't going to think I was being mean or being this or being that. And I realized I had some fears to get over, and some of the fears that I needed to get over were being resented for what I felt or said, somebody getting angry with me because of what I felt or what I said, abandonment, somebody leaving me because of what I felt or said. And let me say now that I want to send a huge thank you out to the people in my life growing up that taught me this abandonment feeling, anger feeling, whatever feeling, because it has really allowed me to reflect on where my feelings come from at the very core of it, and then be able to realize that they were feelings impressed upon me by the other people's own feelings of like lower self-esteem or fear, and I allowed it to be reflected on me and become my feelings. And let me just say this: thank you, because you growing up taught me what I never want to be, and I never became. It's wonderful. It was a hard lesson and it was hurtful, but I got past all that, and now I'm able to help other people in that area and really help myself, because these people teach you to grow, and when you grow you learn, and it's huge.
And when you have all those stress responses that you were talking about, the clamminess, the shaking, all those things, there's your trigger. Right? That's your trigger. And that is what you need to work on. It might not even have anything to do with that. Well, that's your sign. Right.
The trigger is the incident that happens.
Yes.
But then your own awareness comes in.
Right.
When that happens.
Yeah.
Right.
And then you can mark that, like, okay, we're working on this today, and now the tools that we're giving you is where you start. And the mindfulness, a lot of what you're saying is mindfulness.
Yes.
I have learned
your mind.
Yeah.
Where do you want your mind to be?
I feel like I've been a little slow.
Hey, Brenda.
Or there's been some things that come up that take me a long time to, what feels like a long time to me, like a couple weeks maybe, before I can actually respond or get the words together that I don't want to respond in anger, like what you're saying.
Yes.
I don't want to. There was a time that I would have been like, I should have said this, I should have done that. Well, that's not a peaceful way to handle it, and that's not the way I want to live.
Shoulda, woulda, coulda, and if you were supposed to, it would have been said.
But all of that was like the anger part of it. Like, I want to claw back at it. But now I want to be what you also described was being assertive.
Yes.
So I want to be able to clearly articulate.
Assertive, not attacking.
Correct. How I feel. And that in an argument, instead of saying, you made me whatever. No, right. I feel violated. I feel disrespected. And then that causes everybody to have a pause. It's a different way of communicating.
And there's a nice way of saying things.
Yeah, and to resolve it. And frankly, in all of this, forgiveness is a huge part of it. But you don't have to say it to that person. When you feel the trigger, you forgive what's actually happening, where it comes from. Write it, say it, however you need to get it out of your being to let it go. That's part of, what it is that we're saying.
Right.
At this point.
So recognizing it.
Yes.
And then being able to step back for a second and then calmly express your frustration.
Yep.
Be non-confrontational, but aggressive, and confident in your feelings, because the minute you get aligned, that's when you get confident, because you know here, that what you're saying means something. Your feelings really do count, not any less than the other person's feelings also.
Right.
So one of the techniques you can use to do this, and I find this really helpful, not only in this situation, but in many other situations in my life, calmly visualize the outcome that you want. When, like, all right, so let's say you're angry at somebody and you have some time to, in between seeing them and confronting them. Visualize the outcome that you want to see. And then visualize an outcome where you can come to some agreement, or both of you really being understanding and compassionate of the other person's feelings in the matter. And yet, Jamie, it's easier said than done, and you're absolutely right. But in practicing it, it really starts to become a natural thing. Like I find now, instead of shutting down, when I'm in this kind of situation, I actually start to think to myself, where is this coming from? And how do I really feel about it? Am I causing this? Am I not? Mm-hmm. And in that time, it's enabled me to really take things on. Mm-hmm. And I'm learning to confront things that bother me or anger or upset me in a much calmer way. Blinking, breathing.
She also says about practicing daily.
Taking a time out. Yeah.
And
every day.
Interestingly, that's why they say meditation is a practice and yoga is a practice. Otherwise, when we're having the negative responses, whether you're internalizing your stress or outwardly being crazy, however, you're practicing that also. And you're just not practicing it consciously.
And let me tell you, practicing 5 minutes. Don't anybody tell me that you don't have 5 minutes to devote to yourself for your sanity and your peace of mind. We say this all the time. Are you coming from a place of peace? Are you coming from a place of love? Use your guides. Think before you speak. Hear yourself before you say it. Maybe just see a big red stop sign that says, stop being confrontational. Mm-hmm. Take your time, weigh everything out, and then proceed. And we really hope that when we're talking to you like this, you understand we've been practicing this, or we wouldn't even know where to be coming from.
Right.
And we've seen the wonderful things that have happened in our lives, the people that have moved out, the people that have come in. Mm-hmm. I say to some of my colleagues, you lose one client, but that one client you lose that was like a real
weight
or
weighing you down,
somebody who just was not ready for what you had to offer. You let them go, and you know what? Boom, 5-10 new clients come in that are wonderful.
Yeah.
And you say, just letting go. So when you let go of the anger and the frustration and the humiliation and all the other things that we hold on to and carry around with us, mm-hmm. you're blocking the energy for good things to come in. And I don't know about anybody else, but like we're in a 1 year, it's all about you. You still have time to work on it. Get yourself aligned with your highest good, your higher self, your guides. And next year, which is only a few weeks away, 2018 is a 2-year when you add the numbers up, and it's about relationships. And as I've said in my newsletters talking about this, it's not just your relationship outwardly with other people, business, personal, intimate. It's the relationship you have with yourself. And these are things that you have to work on, is self-interest. It's not selfish. It is not selfish to think about yourself. I hear so many people coming in and they're like, I'm feeling so much better. You know why? It's all about me now. That's what you taught me, that it's all about me, and I feel great about it. Well, you should. Who else is going to feel those things? And you know what? It's not always about being right. It's not always about being right. Be fair. Be calm. Be in peace. Be in love. And it's just amazing the things I've learned about myself and about my relationships in many different dynamics, that I learned patience first, and now I've learned about relationships and why things happen or why we allow them to happen. And I know that people close to me aren't going to understand this, but being aggressive has been a real lesson for me. Being aggressive in the right way, and my knowing and confidence, and it's really a wonderful feeling, because when you know what you know that you know what you know, and there's no other explanation that's really needed. Hey, Barb. And I think it's really helped me personally at a level where I'm really feeling good about my life. I really love where I am.
Yep.
I love the path I'm on. I love the journey. I love the people coming into my life. And that's just how I feel. And, for me, relationships was a huge thing. Yeah. And it's clearly becoming clear where I need to really think of me first and be able to confront things that don't feel right and express my frustration or my feelings. And you know what? It's become easier than I ever dreamed that it could, because I'm coming from a different place and because of what I've learned. And that's really what you need to do, is take that time.
I'm somebody, I kind of like hold in a lot of my stuff, which is like all that stress and all.
It's drinking that poison.
Right. And so I've been learning really over all this time too, how to release it. And so I do some other things aside from what we talk about often, writing in the journal, and, burning is one of my favorite things. But, the mindfulness, meditation, when you come into a time, or if you have a relationship that is just draining, physically, emotionally draining to you, I talk to my angels all the time, and you talk about your guides, I talk about my angels. And there's a cord cutting that
we all have both.
We do.
We all have both.
It's just how you refer to them. I refer more to my angels, and I do cord cutting with Archangel Michael. So, like, you have a connection. How's that word said? Etherically, or
you have an etheric
connection. Cords, and it's like, kind of sounds like an umbilical cord, though, if you read about it. And so you can ask Michael to cut those cords that connect you to the people who drain your energies.
All right, so can I just say something? Because I really do this, and sometimes I practice it in my healing sessions about this.
Yep.
So you can ask Archangel Michael to assist you, but in how I've done this, you visualize yourself connected, like solar plexus, heart to heart, whatever, with this other person,
right.
And you take out the scissors.
That's
and you cut the cord.
Yeah.
And when you cut that energetic, etheric cord, you watch that other person just fade away. You're not asking them to be hurt. You're not setting out bad intention. You're not hurting anything. You're not thinking nasty.
Right.
You're just asking to cut this energetic cord that is draining, not helping you to grow.
I feel like that gives you the power back.
There you go.
That's the thing. And
There's
pretty
power in
much
those
with
scissors.
all of this, is owning your own power. And even if it, I thought he fell over. Even if, when you go into all these circumstances, or if you feel that you are holding yourself back, any of these things that happen, take your power back, take control, and right there, and change your perspective of everything that's going on to give yourself more power and give yourself permission to have the power. You know,
there's a lot of
Phyllis
things
has a strong personality. I have a strong personality, but I'm not like as confident, I feel like at times, as you, because you come from that place of talking about it.
Just
You
all in
teach it all
different
the time.
places. It's
Correct.
not about more. Yeah, it's just,
Right.
you know, practice.
But that's fine. Like, own that part of you, know where you come from on it, right? And that everybody's on this different journey, and you're here to hear from us, our perspectives, and I'm grateful to be working with Phyllis on all this journey that we've been doing together for
I'm really
the last
grateful
couple
to be
years.
working on it with
Right?
you too. Yes, I really am. We've said this before. It's
Yeah.
been quite an experience. We come from such different places
We do.
and worlds,
Yep.
and it's just the way it fits.
And they align. Yeah, that's, you know, our paths crossed and aligned.
And I've learned so much from you also.
Yeah.
So it's just been a wonderful journey, and that's
Yes.
why we do this every week, and that's why we share. And before we end today, I want to let you know that you know, we've got 3 more weeks of Wednesdays lives, and starting in January, what we'd like to do is we're going to continue the lives, but we're going to make it more interactive, where we're actually going to give you like papers to go, like places to go to, posts to go to, where we're going to give you things to practice during the week so that you can actually implement all these things. Like, I'm hoping that you get it from what we say, but you'd kind of have to rehear it. And how many times do you want to hear it? So we're going to really make it more interactive, and we really want you to ask questions, make comments, you know, during the week. Let us know how your progress is, and each week it may be something different, but we'll still touch on, you know, completing like what we were talking about.
Yeah.
And we really want to know that you're thriving and growing and learning. And here's the biggest part of this. We're not telling you anything that you already don't know. And maybe some of you are really new to this, but a lot of you just really need to hear it and remember who you are, that we are spirit, having a human existence experience. And if you never lose sight of the fact that our experiences are to learn to get to the vibration and the only feeling of love, it just makes life so much easier, fall in place, and you find that there's almost no resistance anymore, because you're putting that out. That's what you're bringing back to you.
Yep.
And that's the most important thing. So care about yourself. Self-caring is huge. Take a 5 or 10 minute walk. Take 5 minutes, go breathe, blink your eyes. Whatever you need to do when something happens, make anger the last resort. Don't even let it come in. Catch yourself, feel your signs, give yourself a minute. You don't want to be sorry later that you said something that you really didn't mean to say. It's not a fun feeling. It's not a fun feeling. And we all say hurtful things when we're hurt, because hurt people want to hurt people. It's all they know. So be that tiebreaker. My dad used
Speaking
to
of
say,
love.
stop the bleeding. And he was right. Stop the bleeding. Change. So for the new year, stay with us. We really want it to be a most beautiful year for everyone, and for everyone to get to exactly where they are supposed to be on their journey. Not everybody's at the same place, but you know what? We're going to help you to get there, okay? Because we love you. So,
Okay. So, that's it.
all right, well, thanks for
Hope
joining
you have a
us.
great week.
Have a great week. We'll see you next Wednesday.